Yeah, so back out in the creek again today. I'm down the bottom of the creek at the moment. I was just checking out the rest of the creek because last week I went and did some testing in a couple other creeks and I didn't really get anything at all. So this is the main creek that I've been working for the last, well, probably 12 months nearly, and this is down lower. So this seems to be the only gold bearing creek in this vicinity. And I haven't really tested down here much, so there's plenty of creek to test. So I've just been looking at my LiDAR mapping, which shows the contours of the ground without the trees, like Google Maps. And yeah, I've followed this right down, so I'm just going up. Someone has been working here, breaking all this bedrock up. So we're going to keep going up. It looks pretty good. Not a lot of inside bends and because it's fairly straight, but it doesn't always matter. So someone's got into there a bit. So there is a little bit of evidence of people working in here. So they will keep going up. Fairly well worked through here. I think this is where I tested, so nearly to where I've been working. All this clean bedrock. So here's where I've been working. So what I might do today is I'm going to do some tests like I did last week. I'm going to get about 4 buckets from up in this corner here, and then I'm going to probably test every few meters, just a couple of buckets, and then there's a couple down the bottom there I want to test as well. So we'll start doing that. We'll start getting into this little bit of a bank that I've left alone here. And see, I've been throwing the bigger rocks up there. So I'll get stuck in this. I'll get 4 buckets out of here, and then we'll start doing some testing just down around the corner. All right, we'll get into it. Yes, I've done 4 buckets out of here now. Pretty much got down to the bedrock. That wall, it's sort of following a bedrock wall along here. So for the test buckets that I'm going to do, I'm going to try and keep following the bedrock wall down. A few months ago, I got down into here and I sort of followed a bedrock trench going up. You can sort of see there, it starts here. And it pretty much went straight up along there. It was like a bedrock shelf. And I was doing a bit of crevicing out of that and I got a bit of gold, but you can see we've had some rain over the few months since that, and it's sort of filled it all back in. So what I want to do is I want to target this outside bank if I can. I haven't really disturbed much of that. All in the bottom here I've disturbed. So this is all probably just what I've dug and it's washed down. So I pretty much want to try and follow that bedrock in just along this bank here. So we'll do some testing. We'll do a bucket every metre, and then we'll go up the dam, we'll wash it through, and I will actually check my top mat to see if we're getting any. So just try to determine whether it's fading out as it goes down, more so in the bank than on the floor. So I just want to see if any of the gold over time has sort of come out of the bank and settled along there. So all right, we'll keep going. Yes, I'm just onto the second test spot now. I'm just trying to take this wall here and a bit of the gutter, so pretty much just targeting right in the corner. There is a bit of loose silt wash on top, which I'm sort of pulling aside. But you can sort of see we're getting into that red clay material again, all down along the wall there. So I got into the bottom here, flip that out. You can just see it's all really mineralized clay, and it's all just in chunky clumps like that, with the gravel underneath. So the key is to get that off the top and then target the gravel that it's been sitting on. So we'll keep going there. This is the second sample. I don't know if I'll do much more past here. I don't know if I'll worry about going down there. I might go down the bottom of the hill and get a couple of samples down there in that area that I first started. All right, we'll finish off here and then we'll go down there. We'll have a look what's going on down there. Yeah, so just finishing off my fourth sample now, fourth test spot. I was only going to do 3, I was going to do 1 down the bottom, but as I kept coming down here, I just got into some really good packed gravels, especially all through here. And you can see just the packed gravel that's come out of there. I just didn't want to let that go, so I'm going to fill my last little bucket here with this material, and then we'll go down and we'll get another 20 litre sample down the bottom. So we'll have 5 test samples today, and then the original 4 buckets just from up the top here. So fair bit to wash through, but we'll test it as we go, and yeah, hopefully we can get a bit. So this is what I'm talking about with this creek. It just comes off in big chunky material, and then you flip it over and look at all the gravels in it. All the ironstone, quartz, claystone, really mineralised rock. And then, so you have that sitting there, knock it off the top, and then you got all your gravels in here. So that's what we'll be targeting. Okay, so we're just down the bottom of the creek now. Basically where it starts to flatten out. It just spreads out once it gets out past here. So it's pretty much the last where they've really dug in, because they have dug this in, it's not natural. So there's a bit of gravel built up on top, bit of an S-bend through here, so that's pretty good. So you'd probably say let's target maybe in around here. It's quite deep there, goes uphill here. So I'd pretty much almost want to try in around here, just where it starts to go back up the hill. But there is a tree root as well down here and some bigger rocks. So we might do a bucket out of here. We might get all these big rocks off the top and get down in behind that tree root and just see if we can get some good gravels in there. And then we might, tends to dip here and come back up here. So I might try just where it starts to come back up. I might just try in there on the inside a bit. Alright, we'll fill them up, see how we go. Yeah, so I've got our last test sample now. I got stuck into there. I did classify it just because of all the bigger rocks that were in there. So it was pretty well packed in that, so we'll see if there's any in that. And then the other bucket was from up here. A lot of loose wash. I pulled back here just to see what it was, and all this is just all loose wash, so I never really worry about that. And I've upset some bull ants here, but they'll sort themselves out, no doubt. So yeah, I got a bit from here. It was pretty hard packed. Scraped a bit of the loose wash off the top, sort of got down to that deeper stuff. But yeah, I'm not sure about down here. It might be too far down, but that's why I give it a test, just to see. So we might, next time we come out, we'll keep going back up to where I was, and we'll just sample every 5 or 10 metres all the way up, just to see where it starts again, or if there's any and it stops, or vice versa. So we'll go up the dam now, wash it through. Got a fair few buckets to run, 13 or something. So it's going to take a little while. It's starting to warm up now. But yeah, we'll go up and then we'll test it, run it through, and we'll get some samples as we go, and we'll see if there's any gold. See you up there. Yeah, so I'm just up at the dam now, and just going to start running our test buckets through. So the first 2 buckets there are from down the bottom, and then we'll go through the rest of them. We'll clean them out as we go, see if we find any. Yeah, so I've just run the first half bucket through. And this is from down the bottom of the creek. We've got 2 nice little specks there from the first bucket, and that was down near the tree root down the bottom of the creek. So we know it's getting down the bottom. We'll just see how much. So I've got 1 more to go from down there, and then we'll start getting into our test ones from up the top. So just on the first part of that first bucket at the bottom of the creek, and we've got a nice little bit there. Nice little chunky bit, so it's only a bit under half a bucket, so I've got a bit more to run, so we'll keep going. Yeah, so we've gotten through our test buckets now, and did the 4 buckets, and that's what we got out of the test buckets. It's nice little chunky bits, but not much. There could be some still in the sluice mats. Well, there will be. There'll be a percentage down in that bottom sluice mat, but yeah, not as much as I'd hope. But I've still got the 4 buckets to run from up the top, so we'll run them. I probably won't test as I go. We'll just do that at home. So we'll get into it.